welcome. I'm doing a little video for the Near Beer game just to summarize what we did with it, so you have a basic understanding of what needs to be done as you do this. So it's kind of a recap of the assignment that you submitted last week. So looking at the Near Beer game, this is an inventory game, and it's really discussing the bullwhip principle and the idea that you can make one change in what you order that will have a whip type of effect that will impact your entire supply chain. So the only thing that's changing in this example is the amount of cases that your customers are ordering. And this isn't even fluctuating from week to week. It only increases once. Yet many of you struggled to complete it within even 50 weeks. So I wanted to kind of go through this and show you how to do this on the novice setting so that it makes a little bit more sense for you. One thing that I really want to point out, though, that this is so similar to the global simulation that you're doing. You're making decisions every day, and those decisions impact other decisions. So while this is only one isolated item that you change, in your simulation for the phone simulation, you are changing lots of different things. So there's a lot going on, but it's a similar type of effect. So you really need to pay attention to the decisions that you make. As a manager in a business, you will make decisions like this. So you need to understand that sometimes you need to think out how you're going to do it, and then also be willing to make adjustments and changes to do it better. So many of you doing it the second time figured out how to do it a little bit more efficiently. So that's the intent of this, not to make you feel dumb that you can't finish it in 50 weeks, but just to show you the effect that we sometimes react to changes in our supply chain and what happens when we react to those changes, and they can have major consequences to our efficiency in our supply chain. So I'm going to go ahead and start the simulation. What we know is that our current customer base orders 10 orders each week. Next week they're going to start to order 15. I know this ahead of time. The other thing that I know is that it takes 2 weeks to get finished goods inventory. Okay? So it takes 1 week for vendors to deliver ingredients after they get your order, and it takes 1 week to brew the beer after you get material from your vendors. And then your finished goods inventory then will be here as it adds up. Okay? So in order to get to equilibrium, this is one of the approaches that I take. So I know that I have 2 weeks in transit, and so I'm going to be late, definitely 2 weeks in getting production to my customers, right? So what I can do is, if I normally do 10, I now need 15. I'm going to need an additional 10. So what I would do is I would do, you can either do 20 or 25 the first week. I'm going to go ahead and do 20 the first week. And then I'm going to do 20 the second week. So right now you can see that I have unfinished orders. And so now I have some cumulative unfilled orders. And then I'm going to go ahead and move this to 15 this next week. Doesn't quite change. All right, so I have a finished goods inventory of 20. And I have 10 unfilled orders. I now have 0, and I had my inventory balanced in week 6. So you can see how that goes through. I think I could also do, instead of 20, I could do 25 the first week. I might be able to even finish that sooner. So I'm just going to start it this week and try 25 the first week. Oh, I did not change. Just did this the last time where it didn't clear what I had in there, and I don't want to do that. There, it cleared. I don't know why that does that. Okay, so for my first week, I'm going to go ahead and do 25. Hit submit. Think of a delay in this game. Okay, and then my next week, I'm going to go back to 15 because I know that's what I have. more week. And so I was able to get my inventory balanced in week 5 this time. So that's probably the fastest that I think you can do it based on your 2-week transit to get there. But if you notice, nothing else is changing. So you have the same amount of orders. What we tend to want to do is fix it, right? And then you see you're behind more, so you order more and you keep ordering more. So what the general consensus will be, at least initially to start this, just change this. For whatever reason, it's not refreshing on my computer. So if I started out where I was, 10 and 10, let's say I know that next week is going to be 15, I'm going to go ahead and submit 15. Well, now I'm a week behind, right? So I have 5 unfilled orders. I'm going to do 15 again. Well, now I'm seeing that now I've got 5 and 5, so I have 10. So now I'm going to do 25 here. But now I've got another 10. How am I going to catch up? So if I'm going to just do this again and see where I'm at. I still have 10. Gosh, maybe I should do 35 because I'm not fixing that, right? And I go ahead and submit 35. And then let's go back to 15 and see how we do. And, now I've made too much beer. I have 25 cases on hand, so look at how much inventory I have. And now I've got 45 cases on hand, and I've got too much inventory. So, if we don't have good communication through our supply chain, this can really definitely impact what we do. And now I'm in week 8, and I have too much inventory. And then you've got 2 weeks. So if I went 0, how quickly do I get there by not making anything for 2 weeks? And is that realistic for a company just not to make something for 2 weeks? And then see where they're at. So it took me 12 to fix it on that one. So you can recover from it, but understand that you've got this 2 weeks of transit, and this is what you really have to pay attention to, and not get that bullwhip effect and not see that really, I guess,